My beloved child, stop right now. Do not let your heart be carried any further into an unholy spiritual bond, a force that drains your spiritual strength and quietly pulls your soul away from the light. You are standing on the threshold between mercy and destruction. One wrong step more, and you will lose the peace I have poured into your heart. My child, awaken. Do not let the sweet whispers of the flesh deafen you to the warnings from heaven. This is the moment of choice. Either step out in obedience or be swallowed by the darkness. I have whispered to you many times. In those nights when you tossed and turned, when your heart trembled between right and wrong, when you heard my still small voice yet tried to convince yourself that everything is fine, I have waited patiently. But now I can no longer remain silent. I speak. My child, let go now. Not tomorrow, not when you are ready, but this very moment. For every second you hold on to what is not from me, you lose another fragment of the life I have given you. You think you are in love, but in truth you are bound. You believe you are holding on, but that very thing is imprisoning you. That affection is no longer the pure flow of the Holy Spirit. It has become a chain binding your soul to distorted emotions where fear, lack, and obsession reign. It does not draw you closer to me. It pulls you away step by step. I know you do not mean to. I know your heart simply longs to be loved, to be understood, to be connected. But the enemy has taken advantage of that very longing to ensnare you to forge a connection that did not come from heaven. It masquerades as love, but is in truth dependency. It speaks of soul connection, but in reality it is captivity. And the more you try to heal this relationship, the more it fractures your soul. I know what I am about to say will make your heart tremble, but I must speak, for silence now would leave you to destroy yourself in what I never intended. The emotional bond you are clinging to does not come from me. It looks like love, but it is a sweet illusion slowly draining the life from your soul. I see you trying to convince yourself that it is my will that you can save, that you can change, that you can love enough to make it right. This affection is not wrong because it causes you pain. It is wrong because it leads you away from me. Every time you compromise, a piece of your soul is pulled from the light. Every time you silence your conscience, your heart grows dull to the voice of my spirit. You do not realize it, but the gentleness of one who is not of me is making you forget the gentleness of my presence. The gaze you fix upon them makes you forget to look toward heaven. And when you exchange worship for satisfaction, you allow an idol in human form to take the throne that belongs only to me. My child, I do not wish to destroy your happiness. I wish to save your soul from the ruin that is coming. You are clinging to something that can never satisfy your soul because I never placed my blessing within it. I never give you anything that will lead you away from me. The love that comes from me will make you strong, humble, discerning, and filled with peace. But what you are holding on to only brings you anxiety, doubt, and weariness. You are drifting farther than you realize. Like a boat carried by a quiet current, you do not know how far you have gone from the shore of peace. I have seen your heart waver. I have watched you begin to compromise with what once made you tremble. I have heard you whisper to yourself, "Everything will be fine," even though deep within your soul knows something is veering away from the light. I see you trying to silence the voice of the Holy Spirit within you because you fear that if you listen, you will have to let go. You tell yourself, "This is a test that I want you to stay and change that person." But my child, I have never called you to sacrifice your soul to save another. You cannot trade my light just to hold on to a hand that is leading you away from it. I did not create you to live in inner conflict, torn between what you know is right and what you refuse to release. You cannot find true peace in something I have never blessed. You cannot grasp what is new if you are still clinging to what is old. I am preparing something greater, purer, and deeper for you, but I cannot place a new blessing upon the foundation of compromise. Letting go is not loss, it is a return. Do not let emotions rule your soul, and do not let loneliness drive you to settle for what is not from me. True peace is not found in the arms of man, but in mine. You were not called to be a slave to emotion, but to become a child of light. Rise up, my beloved child, and step out of that binding cord. For when you choose me over your feelings, you will receive true love, true freedom, and a joy that no force in this world can ever take away. Before you can step out of the cords that have bound your soul, you must first see them clearly. for the enemy always disguises his chains with the appearance of light, making you believe you are walking the right path. Unholy spiritual bonds never appear threatening. They come dressed in understanding, empathy, and comfort, as though that person were sent to fill the emptiness in your heart. Yet in truth, it is the cord of a bound soul pulling you away from the freedom I have given you. Such bondage begins subtly with a glance, a shared emotion, or a seemingly harmless conversation. It makes you feel seen, understood, and loved, but gradually you lose the freedom to say no. You find yourself dependent not physically but spiritually. You think of them more than you think of me. You long to hear their voice more than you desire to hear mine. You begin to give away the deepest part of your soul to someone I did not appoint for you. When a connection is not born of me, it will drain your spiritual strength rather than empower you. You will notice peace fades, joy weakens, and spiritual clarity grows dim. You pray, yet your spirit feels heavy. You read my word, yet your heart feels empty. These are signs that you have become trapped in a counterfeit spiritual bond. My child, there are relationships that carry the breath of the Holy Spirit. They strengthen you, purify you, and draw you closer to me. But there are also connections marked by the imprint of unhealed souls. They pull you backward, cloud your direction, and distance you from heaven's call. When you cannot pray peace over someone, when you feel you must stay out of fear rather than true love that is not from me, you ask, how can I know if it is an unholy bond? I say, look at its fruit. If it produces peace, humility, and closeness with me, then it is from me. But if it brings restlessness, control, jealousy, or confusion, then it is a sign of darkness disguised as light. For Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 1:1-4. Unholy spiritual bondage does not come only through romantic relationships. It may appear as someone who distracts you from your divine purpose, a false prophecy that makes you doubt me, or even an unhealed memory that still keeps your soul bound to what has passed. Whatever form it takes, its nature remains the same. It ties you to the past and prevents you from stepping into your future. I desire your freedom, not freedom to wander, but freedom to be bound only to what comes from heaven. When you recognize what is not of me, do not grieve, do not justify, do not delay. Be decisive, for hesitation is the doorway through which the chains return. Do not let the memories of that person become chains that hold you in a place where I no longer dwell. The past is not destiny, and what was once warm in a former season does not mean you must carry it into every season of your life. I have prepared for you a future far greater, but you cannot step into it if you keep looking back. There are doors that only open when you dare to leave the old threshold behind. There are blessings that are only released when you are brave enough to say, Father, I trust that you know what is best. If you stay, the storms I once tried to restrain will come upon you. If you stay, you will understand why I spoke not to forbid but to protect. My silence was never approval. It was a warning slowly fading beneath the noise of emotion. I foresaw the widening cracks, the heart growing weary, the joy turning into anxiety. You will begin to realize you are losing yourself not all at once but through the quiet drifting of your soul. You were created for freedom, to live in the light, to reflect my glory, not to become a prisoner of emotion. Sometimes true love is letting go so that I may place in your hands something more worthy. Sometimes love is trusting that I see further than you, that I know what will wound you and what will make you live. Stop before you go too far. Believe that the temporary loss of today is the doorway to eternal peace. Let me lead you out of where you do not belong so that you may return to the place I have destined for you. My child, I speak to you today. It is time to be decisive. There is no longer room for hesitation, no space for sweet excuses. For every moment you cling to what does not come from me is a moment your soul is being drawn deeper into the barren land of dependency. I have not come to frighten you, but to awaken you from the spiritual slumber that is dimming your light. I have warned you many times through subtle signs, the long sleepless nights, the faint voice calling within the moments when peace leaves you, and you cannot understand why. That is not mere fatigue. It is my spirit stirring your soul, knocking once again. For the enemy of your soul is cunning. He knows he does not need to destroy you, only to keep you far from me, long enough for you to wither on your own. My child, let go immediately. not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient. Release it now before the bond becomes a chain you cannot break. Do not let pity or fear delay you, for hesitation is the open door through which darkness enters. You cannot enter the new season while still clinging to the old. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake at the table of the Lord and the table of demons. 1 Corinthians 1:0-2:1. This is your moment, the moment when heaven holds its breath, and I watch to see what you will choose. In the past you heard my warning, but let it drift by like a passing breeze. You thought you had more time, that things would change on their own. But now, as my voice rises again, it is not coincidence. It is mercy knocking once more. You cannot say that I have never called you. I have called you in dreams, in uneasy restlessness, in the tears that fell when your heart felt empty though you had everything. You have heard my voice many times in the silence that stirred your spirit, in the words others spoke that pierced your heart as if meant for you alone. Every sign, every whisper, every trembling moment has been me, the one who loves you, trying to awaken you from the gentle slumber of misdirection. It grieves me deeply to see many of my children hear my voice, yet live as if I had never spoken. They hear but do not listen. They feel conviction but push it aside out of fear of change. They tell themselves, there is still time, God will understand. One day I will obey. But my child, every delay is one step farther from the arms of mercy. Every time my voice is ignored, another brick is laid in the wall that separates humanity from grace. You do not realize that my silence is not a sign of safety, but a period of patient waiting. My patience is mercy, but that mercy is not endless in the way you imagine. Many have been deceived into thinking that because they have not yet seen the consequences, they are safe. That because judgment has not yet come, they still have freedom. But this is the most dangerous illusion of all, the lie that one can live outside my will and still enjoy my peace. You may think that because everything seems calm, because you have not suffered loss, the warning is excessive. But I tell you, false peace is the thickest fog the enemy uses to hide the abyss. It makes you believe that you are well while each step takes you closer to the edge of danger. Like a calm river that conceals a violent current beneath your feeling of safety is not truth. It is the lullaby of deception. Do not let the delay of judgment deceive you into thinking it will not come. My patience is not my approval. I delay not so that you may sin without restraint, but so that you may have a chance to return. Every moment I have not yet acted is a moment I am reaching out my hand. But if you keep turning away, the time will come when that hand can no longer draw you back. Time is but a breath, it comes and it goes. Do not wait until darkness swallows the light to realize how far you have strayed. Now, my child, you have heard clearly. No more confusion, no more blending of my voice with the voice of your emotions. This is the moment of decision. You will not be able to say that I was silent, for in this very instant I am speaking directly into your spirit. You will not be able to say that I did not warn you, for every word I speak is being etched upon your heart. You will not be able to say that I did not love you, for only a deep love dares to speak the words you do not wish to hear but must hear to be saved. My love-beloved child is not a fragile emotion. It is a holy fire that burns away falsehood so that your soul may be free. It is the light that reveals every hidden corner you have tried to conceal. It is the strong yet gentle hand pulling you out of danger. I do not speak to make you afraid, but to save you before the door closes. Do not delay any longer. Each time you hesitate, my voice will grow fainter, not because I stop speaking, but because your heart becomes covered with the dust of compromise. Every step away from truth brings you closer to the abyss I never intended for you. My child, the time of grace is still open, but it will not remain forever. While the light still shines, step out of the darkness. While my voice still calls, answer. While your heart still feels conviction, bow your head and say, Father, I surrender. Remember, letting go is not defeat, but surrender in victory. When you dare to say enough, when you choose to cut the cord, heaven will move immediately. My angels will intervene. My grace will pour out. Prison doors will open. And what you thought was loss will become the passage into freedom. Look back on your journey. How many times did you hold on, yet peace never came? How many times did you convince yourself it will be fine, yet your soul remained empty? You thought you could heal what I never established, but how can what is unholy give birth to life? How can what does not begin in me ever lead you back to me? I do not ask you to let go to leave you empty. I ask you to let go so that you may be filled. For I never take away what is good from you. I only remove what is wounding your soul, though you may not yet see it. Whoever wants to follow me must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Mark 8:3-4. Surrender is not punishment, it is the journey into freedom. The more you yield, the more I release. The more you let go, the more I give. The more you trust, the more I move. My child, after the fierce storm, I see your trembling hands, hands that have just released what you once thought you could never let go of. I know the emptiness that fills your heart, the heaviness in your breath, and the tears still resting at the corner of your eyes, but do not fear this silence. It is not the emptiness of loss, but the sacred space where I am stepping in. The moment you let go, all of heaven moved. Every power of darkness that once used unseen cords to bind you has retreated, for your obedience has become a declaration of war in the spirit. Obedience is not the mark of weakness, but the seal of the strong. The weak cling to what they can see, but the strong dare to believe in what they cannot. When you obey, you do not fail. You enter a deeper realm of faith where you no longer need to understand in order to believe, but believe in order to understand. What you call an ending, I call a beginning. What you think has fallen apart, I call rebuilding. For I have never closed a door without preparing a better way. You may not see it now, but each of your steps is moving within the light of divine guidance. Let your heart rest in the assurance that I never make mistakes. Everything I do, everything I allow, carries a purpose far deeper than you can yet perceive. There are times when I allow you to lose a person, a connection, or a dream, not because I do not love you, but because I know those very things stand in the way of you encountering me. Look around, my beloved child. There are those who have walked the same path as you, those who have lost, who have wept, and yet today stand firm because I have restored them. And I will restore you too, not only with what you have lost, but with my very presence. When you return, I will not meet you with reproach, but with open arms. I do not simply heal wounds, I sanctify scars, so that each time you look back, you no longer see pain, but the mark of life. For I have never allowed any wound to be wasted. Every tear you have shed has been recorded by me, and every sigh has reached the heavens. Allow me to touch the deepest places of your soul, the corners still holding traces of resentment, regret, or doubt. I do not come to rebuke you. I come to wipe your tears and breathe peace once more into your heart. That peace does not come from everything returning to how it once was, but from knowing that I have never left you. Believe that obedience paves the way for blessing, and trust is the foundation for miracles. When you place your trust in me, you shift the weight from your shoulders to mine. And I, who never grow weary, will carry it all, your pain, your regrets, your fears, so that you may breathe freely again. One day soon you will look back and smile, not because you have forgotten the pain, but because you have understood its purpose. My child, return, step into peace. For the moment you chose obedience, I was already there, standing with open arms, ready to welcome you home. Now that you have released, I see your heart beginning to open like a flower, blooming after the rain. I am entering through the gentle wind of my spirit to heal the deep places you once feared to touch. I do not merely mend what was torn, I recreate your soul so that even the barren places within you may blossom once again. As you break free from unholy ties, you have stepped out of the prison of darkness and into the current of divine destiny. From this moment on, you will no longer live by emotion, but by the light of my guidance. I am placing within you a new spirit, gentle, clear, and free. You will realize that peace is no longer something to search for, but something that flows from within you. For where I dwell, fear cannot remain. Where I move, burdens cease. Where I speak, confusion dissolves. My love is realigning everything within you, your mind, your emotions, and even the things you have not yet dared to name. You may still remember that person, that memory, that story, but now that remembrance will no longer be tied to pain. It will become a testimony that I have delivered you. The wound is no longer a mark of shame, but a seal of miracle. I have touched the place that once bled, and now it shines with my glory. I am turning your fear into strength. I am transforming your tears into seeds for the coming season of blessing. From this day forward, you shall no longer walk by fear, but by the power of peace. I will not let you wander aimlessly in the shadows of confusion or uncertainty. My Spirit will guide you step by step, not through human reasoning, but through revelation that surpasses understanding. When you seek me, I will allow myself to be found. When you long for truth, I will open the gates of understanding and let the light of heaven illuminate your spirit. I will train your soul to discern between what appears right and what is truly righteous. You will no longer move according to emotion or the noise of the world, but to the rhythm of my Spirit. Your choices will no longer arise from fear, lack, or pressure, but from the firm foundation of divine wisdom. I will place within you the ability to see what others cannot, to recognize the path that leads to life and the one that leads to destruction. I will open your mind to comprehend mysteries, not so that you may boast, but so that you may walk wisely in a world blind to truth. I will teach you when to be silent, when to speak, and how to act in my timing. As you follow the leading of my Spirit, every crooked path will be made straight, and every stumbling stone will become a step that lifts you higher. When you put your trust in me, you will no longer walk in confusion, but in the certainty of heavenly wisdom, and in every step I will reveal myself to you day by day, moment by moment, breath by breath. My beloved child, as you have stepped out from the land of bondage and entered into my rest, know that this is not merely the end of a season, it is the beginning of a new mission. Everything you have gone through was not by chance. Every wound, every tear, and every trial was permitted by me to prepare you for greater glory. I have anointed you with fresh oil from heaven, not only to heal, but to send. For only those who have been broken and bound can truly understand the worth of freedom, and only those who have tasted the depths can speak of grace with both power and compassion. My Spirit within you is stronger than ever before. You will sense a sharpened discernment. Your hearing will grow clearer, your sight deeper, your spirit more sensitive. You will no longer be led by emotion, but by wisdom anointed from above. Your eyes will distinguish between true light and the imitation of darkness. Your hands will carry the warmth of healing. Your words will bear the power of deliverance. Let me use your old wounds to touch those who hurt as you once did. Let your story become proof that I am real. For this world does not need more empty sermons, it needs souls that have been shattered and now stand radiant in my glory. I will send you forth not with noise, but with the power of stillness, the authority that only belongs to those who have been healed by my own hand. You will encounter those trapped in the same spiritual chains that once bound you. They will come to you in tears, in confusion, in longing for freedom. And I will place in your mouth words that carry life. When you speak, they will see me. When you pray, their shackles will fall away. You will not need to prove yourself, for my presence within you will be the greatest testimony of all. My beloved child, I have not only called you to be free, I have called you to become a bearer of freedom for others. From this moment forward, you are anointed to carry the oil of healing. That oil will never run dry, for it flows from an eternal source, my own heart. Yet remember this always: anointing cannot dwell apart from humility. Never believe that victory came by your own strength. It was grace that sustained you, and mercy that redeemed you. When you humble yourself, grace continues to pour forth. When pride enters, that stream ceases to flow. Therefore, keep your heart soft like fertile soil, that I may continue to plant within you new seeds of glory. I am giving you a new name in the Spirit. You are no longer the one bound, but the one sent forth. No longer the wounded soul, but the keeper of the keys of deliverance. No longer the fearful, but the warrior of peace. I proclaim over you, arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Isaiah 6:01. From this day you shall walk in that light. I will open before you doors no man can shut. I will level the rough paths that once hindered your way. Wherever you set your feet, I will be there. Whatever word you speak in faith, I will confirm. Nothing will bind you again, for the last chain has been broken by the power of obedience. Now go forth not in fear, but in the joy of the chosen one. I have prepared for you things beyond your imagination, new doors, divinely appointed companions and missions that will carry you to places you never dreamed of. But you will not walk alone, for I, your God, will go before you, walk beside you, and dwell within you. My beloved child, after every storm and every tear, what I desire for you to see is not the victory outside, but the kingdom I have established within you. It is not a realm of noise or striving, but a throne of peace, where my spirit reigns and governs every breath, every heartbeat. True peace does not come when every problem disappears, but when your soul knows that I am still in control. The world may shake, but the kingdom within those who belong to me cannot be moved for. My peace is not a condition, it is my very presence. When you allow me to be king within your heart, every storm outside becomes the background music of your stillness. When you sit in the darkness yet remain at rest, it is the sign that my kingdom has been established within you. That kingdom is the place where you learn to rest in my presence, no longer chasing praise, no longer fearing abandonment, no longer seeking worth in the eyes of others. For now you know your worth is found in my gaze, and true peace begins when you cease striving for the approval of the world. My child, as long as you try to control everything, your soul will grow weary. But when you release control, I will lift you by the strength of peace. True peace is not a reward for those who never stumble, but a gift for those who return. When you come back in obedience, I will not only wipe your tears, I will give you a new spirit. You will no longer react in fear, but respond in love. You will no longer run from pain, for you will see me even within it. Now you are not merely one who has been saved, you are a carrier of the kingdom. You have been restored to become a living emblem of peace. Walk gently yet with heavenly authority. Speak less yet with power from above. Love deeper, for that love itself is the proof of the kingdom within you. And each time you close your eyes, remember you carry within you a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Though the world may change, though all around you may fade away, that kingdom will stand, for it is where I dwell and I will never leave you. May the word of the Lord continually remind you to live each day in faith and love. Follow and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the divine messages I long to share with you. May God bless you abundantly. Amen.